You are tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. Come on in, get some of this good boxing talk. I know it's raining like crazy in Philly right now, but we had to go live. But you see, I got my partner here, my main man, my sidekick, my partner in crime, VP Shane. What's going on, bro?
Everything's all good, bro.
So we had a pretty okay card this weekend. Zerto Ramirez versus Sullivan Barrera. That went as expected. But the fight of the night that people was looking forward to was JoJo Diaz versus Javier Fortuna. JoJo Diaz got a unanimous decision victory, and there's some differences in terms of scorecards and things like
was
that.
his
Was it
first
wide? Was
fight
it
at
close?
130. First fight at 135. So
Yeah.
I mean,
So for JoJo to go into his first fight at 135 and fight somebody like Fortuna and get the victory, that says a lot. Says a whole lot. But we got people in the building already. Rocky Rodriguez, big shout out to you. He said what's going on. My boxing son is in the building. Chris G. He said JoJo Diaz versus William Cepeda. What you think, Shane?
I mean, what weight class would that be at?
Ain't Cepeda in 147?
I thought Zepeda moved up to 147.
Yeah,
he was at 140.
in,
He was at 140, but I thought he moved up to 140. They were talking about him fighting Crawford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, he's supposed to be in the running for Crawford. So, Chris G, you might have to update that when I come up with another opponent. He said 135. Oh, he's talking about the other Zepeda.
Wrong Zepeda. We're talking about Zepeda. We're talking about Wrong Zepeda. Now, I don't want to see that fight. William Zepeda. The reason why I thought it was Jose Zepeda because William Zepeda is a terrible fighter. He is a terrible fighter. I don't like Zepeda. That Zepeda I don't like at all. That's why I thought you were talking about 140 Zepeda.
Yeah, I thought,
You would never put 135 Zepeda against. He's a terrible fighter. He's a horrible fighter.
Yeah, he's not very pleasing on the eyes, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't want to see that fight. There's so much better fights for JoJo at 130, at 135.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
think that's 100%. A step backwards. That's a step backwards. After you beat Fortuna, why would you want to fight Zepeda? That's a step backwards.
Yeah, that's definitely a step backwards, for sure. But Chris G, you got to come up with another opponent, man. We don't like William Cepeda over here in these parts. He said William Cepeda just be the top prospect. That's cool.
That don't mean anything.
It don't mean anything in terms of JoJo. It don't mean anything in terms of JoJo.
So did what's your boy from Philly's name? What's that dude's name that just beat a top prospect? What's that dude's name from Philly?
Oh, Gabe Rosado.
He just beat a top prospect. I wouldn't put him in there with Canelo. Like,
yeah, and the thing is, you got to look at it from the other end. Like, what is in it for JoJo? You know what I mean? Like, what's in it for JoJo? It's not anything in it for JoJo. You know what I mean? Rocky Rodriguez, JoJo was sharp against Farmer, didn't look crisp versus Fortuna. Let me get into that real quick. Rocky Rodriguez, that's I was expecting that from JoJo. He had a couple things going on. Number one, his first fight at the weight class. Number two, you could tell he wasn't trying to be reckless in there. He was trying to be aggressive, but not reckless. So sometimes he was walking in and he was comfortable. Sometimes he was walking in like he was on eggshells. So what I seen from JoJo was exactly what I thought I was going to get from JoJo Diaz. It was Fortuna that proved to me he is who I thought he was. And I've been saying this for about 2-3 years. Fortuna is awkward. He is not good offensively. He is not an offensively talented fighter. He wins fights off of picking and choosing his spots to throw punches and his awkwardness. People can't figure him out and they get frustrated. he's not offensively gifted. And Shane and I said before the fight, Fortuna was going to have his opportunities to get off offensively. So if he had some offensive game, he was going to be able to get off. Can't hear you, bro. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. You real low. You real low. Okay. Give us a second, y'all. Yeah, so basically with Fortuna is not really, he's just not gifted offensively. Like, he tried to move around the ring, tried to jab, he tried to fight on the inside in spots, and he just didn't really do anything good enough. Now, me personally, I had an 8-4 JoJo. I think Shane had a 7-5 JoJo. But you know, that fight was for the taking.
Can you still not hear me?
No, I can hear you fine now. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, I was saying that one thing that JoJo done real good was he kept his high guard up real tight in that fight.
Yeah, and JoJo doesn't always do that. You know, the one thing that concerns me about JoJo?
He cuts easy.
Yeah, I swear, man. Yo, listen, Shane and I talk all the time off camera, but we have not had a conversation about this topic. And of course, he says the same thing that I was getting ready to say. Like, scar tissue, the amount of scar tissue he probably has around his eyes is probably on the same level as probably a Gabe Rosado before he got the surgery. I think JoJo probably needs to get the surgery to get that scar tissue from around his eye, because it's always the same eye that's getting cut. So before he gets into the ring with a Devin Haney or something like that, he needs to get that cleaned up. Not only for that fight, but just for his future period. Chris G, Williams Zepeda may not have the best boxing ability, but he was pretty entertaining and being good are two different things. That's very true. But the thing is nothing in it for JoJo Diaz. Like, if I'm JoJo Diaz and Williams Zepeda's name come across my desk, I'm gonna throw it back off my desk.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing, and it's nothing against Williams Zepeda. It's just people are at different levels in their career. JoJo was just at a different level. Like, once you beat, you know, a guy like Fortuna, then you're looking at look at
JoJo's last 3 fights. Let's look at JoJo's last 3 fights. Like, Williams Zepeda isn't on none of those dudes' levels. In terms of what he can do, he's just not on their level.
Yeah, and it's just and like you said, it's a step down. Like, it's really
and
a step down.
He's up to 135. Yeah, because 135 is supposed to be a mega division.
Yeah,
the Zepeda fight ain't, like, to be fair, him taking the Fortuna fight looked good on him, because you're forgetting Ryan didn't take that fight, so that looks good on JoJo.
Yeah, hey, Chris, I wouldn't even spar Williams Zepeda, let alone fighting. I wouldn't even spar him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Chris G said Fortuna should have let his hands go. That's the thing. He's not good offensively, man. Like, when have you ever seen him really let him go? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was trying to pot shot in that fight, and there was a round where he was trying to go forward, and he was just getting picked off. The problem is
round 7. It was like 7. Round 7.
The problem is his offense is just very scripted.
Even when he moves around the ring.
Yeah.
One jab, move. One jab, move. It's kind of like Sean Porter. You know, when he's moving around the ring, he gonna give you nothing but a jab, and if he wants to throw more than one punch, he has to completely stop. It's very
the jab and the bounce.
The jab and the bounce. Yeah, the jab and the bounce. Like, it's so scripted. I know on TV it's scripted. You know what I mean? That's my boo right there, Miss Candy. What's going on, Miss Candy? Hold on. He said, I feel like Fortuna was gassed. What you think about that, Shane?
I don't think so.
I didn't.
But I didn't think he was gassed. I just thought he just realized that the cards that he had to play with wasn't working. So you don't continue making the same mistakes. Plus, I also felt like his corner might not have done a great job because I feel like the fight was close, but maybe they thought he was way ahead, especially with the point deduction. You know, because he could have won that fight, in my opinion. To me, if he won the 2 last rounds, he would have won the fight. In my scorecard, if he won the 2 last rounds, he would have won the fight.
Yeah, it was there for the taking. It's not like JoJo went in there and just was setting the world on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't setting the world on fire. Chris G said JoJo Diaz didn't have power at 126. Yeah, but at the same time, though, Chris, like when you let your hands go and you don't mind sitting in the pocket, good things is gonna happen. As long as you're not on no Paulie Malignaggi type shit, like you cool. Like if you got respectable power, and then when you get up to the high level anyway, you're not really knocking guys out anyway. A lot of these fights are going 10, 11, 12 rounds, so I don't really get in all that.
And to keep it real, Fortuna didn't walk through JoJo Diaz at any stage.
Yeah. And the thing is, did JoJo look bigger than Fortuna?
That's a tricky one. That is a real tricky one. I don't even know. I don't know. I mean, JoJo Diaz looked big, and he didn't look like soft big neither. He did look like big in a good way, but at the same time, it's very hard to tell when we're talking about 5 pounds.
To me, the reason I asked that is because JoJo looked bloated big to me. Like
I didn't think so.
He looked bloated big to me, and I maybe it's just because it's his body type. He's just kind of he always has like that chunky look, like But again, it's 5 pounds too, so he probably came in. I think he looked the same as he did in his last fight when he fought Rakhimov. I'm talking about his body looked the same, but I thought his body looked soft in that fight.
I didn't think he looked soft. I think naturally he looks soft regardless. He's got that body type, but I thought he looked a bit more. I don't know, man. I thought he looked a bit more tight in the Fortuna fight. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. I thought he looked a bit more tight in that Fortuna fight.
Yeah, it was just one of them weird fights, man. Like it was just one of them weird fights. Like I picked JoJo to win the fight. I know BoxingFirst Vlog. I know big shout out to him. I think he said Fortuna was going dog walking. Nah, it's just like Fortuna ain't that good offensively. Like I had people like a year and a half ago tell me that Devin Haney was scared to fight Fortuna. I was like, wow.
They were saying that about Ryan.
Huh?
They were saying that about Ryan.
Yeah, but I would get the same answer. Like, why? Like outside of an awkward style, like what does he do? Like outside of being awkward, like what does he do? Like, can you pinpoint something that he does extremely well?
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, and that's no disrespect to him. Like, that's no disrespect to him. But when you bring up a fighter and the best attribute you can come up with is that they're awkward, then that's not good. That's not good. Like, it's either that or he's high risk, low reward. It's not good. Either way, it's not good. Like, you bring up Ryan Garcia, he got hand speed. You bring up JoJo Diaz, he's a solid all-around fighter. Devin Haney could box his ass. So, like, you can bring up attributes to some of these other guys with Fortuna. I can't bring up one attribute that he's really good at.
No one thought Fortuna was an A-level fighter, though.
Yeah, but they talk as if he was like a boogeyman or something. I don't understand it. It's kind of like
was it? I don't know if it was the Easter fight. Was it Easter? I think was it the Easter fight that I don't know. There was a fight that Fortuna had, and I just was not impressed by.
You talking about the Robert Easter fight?
Yeah,
that fight was horrible. That fight was horrible, man. I was falling asleep on that fight.
Yeah, so I mean, I've never been convinced by Fortuna, but he's a guy who comes to fight, so you got to give him credit on that. I thought he put in a good display against JoJo for the most part. I just thought the last maybe 3 rounds he just wasn't as he didn't have fight with the same level of conviction.
He just leaves a lot on the table, man. Like he just after I watch Fortuna fight, I'll be like, bro, like it just seemed like you just left so much to be desired. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just it's frustrating watching people like Fortuna because he has good physical talent. Like he has the physical abilities to do a lot of different things inside of the ring. It's just I don't know if he lacks craft or IQ. I don't know what it is, but like
maybe he just doesn't understand how to like the temperature of a fight in the sense that you're in a fight. How do you like judge whether you're winning rounds, losing rounds, the momentum? I don't know if he knows how to do that. That's a skill in itself because a lot of people have a biased opinion of themselves, or some people are very hard on themselves. So he's probably a person who's probably struggling to gauge, you know, how a fight's going, because as the fight progressed, you can clearly see that there was a change in mentality. Now that 9 times out of 10 comes down to a person having a particular perception of a fight and it probably not being accurate to reality.
Correct. Yeah, I can agree with that. It's just, and see, you in the UK, I know in the States people bring up Fortuna and it's kind of like it's one of the two things that I said, and I'm just like nobody in the top 5 should be running from some Javier Fortuna. Like I don't get it. My boxing eye
doesn't see
it. Don't see it. I just don't see it. But with JoJo coming up with the victory, of course he he called out some heavy hitters, mainly Devin Haney. And it's interesting he called out Devin Haney because Devin Haney is a network free agent at the moment. What do you think of that fight?
You're a comment, by the way. You're a comment.
Oh, okay. D Gamer, what's going on, D Gamer? Big shout out to you, bro. He said, "What are your predictions for this weekend?" I have Charlo by 10th round TKO. Actually, you know what? Go ahead.
I'm gonna make my prediction publicly, but we're also making our prediction elsewhere. But when I'm making my prediction publicly, Castano's winning that fight. Castano's winning that fight on points.
D Gamer, I am still on the fence. And D Gamer, for the people, if you're relatively new, but if you know me from the past, I used to do a whole lot of breakdown and prediction videos. So I will make the announcement. I am pulling the lab coat out for Charlo and Castano, so you will get a Charlo versus Castano breakdown and prediction video. Matter of fact, you know what, Shane? Let's pre-record one. Let's pre-record one and just drop it as a regular video. We ain't never do that. Yeah. We ain't never do that. Yeah, so you'll have a G5 Jeff TV and VP Shane breakdown and prediction video for Charlo and Castano this weekend.
We'll do it differently, bro. We'll do it differently. Like you'll probably see the pros of one fighter, cons of one fighter, X, Y, Z.
Yeah, we'll freestyle it like we usually do and make it look good. You know what I'm saying? But I'm leaning towards Castano, D Gamer, just so I won't have you waiting in the wings. I'm leaning towards Castano, but it's like 50.5 to 49.5. It's something like that.
The truth is, bro, I don't ever like when a fighter is relying on the knockout to win. I don't like that. And
you think you're relying on that?
Charlo's not good at winning rounds, and Castano's an amazing fighter at winning rounds. Charlo's not outworking Castano. Let's just keep that real. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Charlo is not outworking Castano. That's just the facts. And Castano, he's coming to get that work from the start. And when you're relying on a knockout, because let's keep it real, Charlo was down Charlo was down on the cards against Harrison. Charlo had a tricky fight with what's that dude's name that he fought to win the title? What's that dude's name? I
Who you
forgot
talking
that
about?
guy.
Talking about Jamal? Jamel?
Yeah, Jamal, when he won the title. It was against that ex-legend's son. I can't remember his name. I'm looking at his face right now. But he won the title. He was down on the cards in that fight. Some people had him down in the Harrison rematch. Some people had him down early in the Trout fight, where he had to pull that fight out of the bag. Bro, he loses rounds consistently. You can't be down against the cards against someone like Castano because you're relying on to knock out someone who has never been knocked out before or even down. And it's just, I don't like those odds. And it's not like Charlo's got wilder power. He's got a lot of power. For 154, he's got an amazing power. But I don't like that. Unless you're a heavyweight, I don't like fighters relying on knockouts.
Yeah. Like, unless you somebody like Tank or something like that, just powers is something different. And Jamel is not the guy that's really like known to be like he can crack, but he not cracking like that though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he's not cracking like Beterbiev or Tank.
Yeah, it's not a Beterbiev type like cracking. That. Yeah, right. It's not a Beterbiev type cracking. So if you coming into a fight and it's like, no, I gotta get a knockout, that's not good.
And that's the truth is, bro, because Charlo's not used to fighting someone who applies that much pressure. You look at his biggest fights. He's never fought anyone who applies that type of pressure.
Right.
Teixeira was a single guy.
Right.
Lubin was a single guy. He does throw combinations, but he's not like relentless with it. You got noise in the background, by the way.
Yeah, somebody ghetto ass car out here honking. Go ahead.
You got Lubin, who was a guy, he threw combinations, but he wasn't like relentless with it. You got Austin Trout, who was a guy, he was a mover, awkward fighter, but he's not a come forward, empty the tank type of fighter. He's never really fought no one with that level of engine. Coming forward, 12 rounds, 80 punches a round, every single round, walking you down. And Charlo don't have the back foot game to box all night because let's keep it real. Erislandy Lara tried it against Castano and it didn't work because he just walked Erislandy Lara down easily and got in the pocket easily. And let's keep it real. Who's got better footwork, Charlo or Lara? It's not even a debate. So, bro, I just look at it and I'm thinking a lot of the pros are on Castano's side.
Yeah. Like, for sure. Like, Castano, like, the active guy wins a lot of rounds. In order for Charlo to win a lot of these rounds, he's going to have to make the pot shot game count. He's going to have to make it count.
He's going to have to hit him with something that's going to get his respect. And I don't know if he can do that because when has Castano been in a position where someone's hitting and he's retreated? I see this guy get hit by Teixeira and he just continued walking forward. Like, to me, bro, I don't like that. I don't like a man relying solely on a knockout, especially against someone who's probably got one of the best. Charlo and Castano probably have the best chin in the 154 division. So how do you rely on a knockout against someone who's got a great chin? You can't, like that. That's not good odds for me. That is not good odds for me.
Yeah, I don't like that neither. But we'll D Gamer, you trying to get us to do a breakdown and prediction video live, and I'm not gonna let you get away with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But he said Charlo is kind of like Wilder. He will lose the rounds, but it will win with the game changer power. See, I don't think Mel has game changing power. I just think he's kind of lucked up in a couple fights.
Let's keep it real. The Teixeira fight, not Teixeira. What's that guy he just fought? The guy who you won the belts off. Jason Rosario. Rosario's punch resilience has been questionable. It's been questionable. Lubin, that was a very good knockout. There's no buts with that. That was a fantastic knockout, but that was first round. So he wasn't really down on the cards. It's not like he looked for that one. What other knockout can I say? I mean, the Harrison knockout. I mean, it didn't come in the first fight. The second fight came, but it didn't come in the first fight. So they were only picking up on isolated moments. Wilder done it in his whole entire career. Every fight Wilder has, he's relying on that knockout power. Charles relied on that knockout power, and it's failed him a few times. Let's not get that. It failed him in the Trout fight. It failed him in the Harrison first fight. That's just the facts.
No, that's true. That's definitely true. And excuse the noise. I got a hood ass car, fucking alarm going off and shit. We got Jim Jones in the building. Big shout out to Jim Jones. Salute family. JoJo ain't fighting Devin. What you think about that, Shane?
I mean, I think it's possible. I think that was for the wasn't the Fortuna fight for mandatory. So I think he will be ordered to fight Devin Haney. I think that was for mandatory, wasn't it? I thought it was.
Yeah, so he's Devin Haney's mandatory actually. So that's a fight that could definitely.
And to be fair, why wouldn't JoJo take that fight? Why wouldn't he take that fight? I mean, JoJo ain't gonna get a bigger fight than that. What fight is JoJo gonna get that's bigger than that in terms of financial or status? And he's gonna win a belt at the same time. What? I mean, he'll be stupid not to take that fight. And we can't say JoJo's a coward because JoJo's fought. Like,
yeah, he's fought everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fought. Yeah, it's joint crazy. King Louis in the building says salute G5 and Shane. Big shout out to King Louis. That's a family right there. Rocky Rodriguez said at Jim Jones why he could lose to Devin, but it's not a physically dangerous fight. What you think about that, Shane?
He could lose to Devin, and I agree. I 100% agree. It's not a physically dangerous fight. I don't think if he puts a good account of himself in a fight, to be fair, he could make himself he can end up getting good fights off the back of that. You know, if he lost, like, you know how Nakatani gave a good fight against Teofimo Lopez. He became a guy that other guys wanted to fight. It's the same thing. JoJo Diaz could eventually be like that because he gave a good account of himself against Gary Russell, and then that fight got him the Tevin Farmer fight. And he ended up winning. So I think JoJo Diaz is in a good place right now. I won't lie to you. I think he's in a fantastic place.
JoJo is in a real good spot right now. He got his pick of the litter.
The only disappointing thing is he lost his strap at 130, which it would have been good if he still had that.
But if he is going to fight at 135 anyway, I mean, it's hindsight. But I mean, he might have been thinking that way going into the fight.
That's true. But I mean, 130 is still good fights. Guys like Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson, Jamel Herring, those are still good fights at 130.
And 135 is a money division. If you a free agent, it's a money division.
But he's with Golden Boy. Golden Boy are looking at it from a perspective of.
Oh, you know what? He is with Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna shoot this car, yo. I swear I'm gonna shoot this car as soon as we get off live. Yo, hold on. D Gamer, he said, how is the horn going off for that long in the background? D Gamer, I don't know, bro. Yo, the thing is funny though, D Gamer, when Shane's talking, it stops. When I start talking, the shit start going off. So I'm taking it as a sign. Shane might have put that car out there, yo. Every time I man, YSL Sports Media said, stop ducking me, Shane. He said, make the Facebook. Big shout out to YSL Sports Media, man. That's my guy. Tony's Reviews. What's going on, bro? Tony's Reviews.
I haven't seen you in a minute. Tony, it's great. Please follow us on Instagram or social media.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, for sure. Hey Shane, how you actually think the JoJo Diaz Devin Haney fight would go, like strategy wise?
I think JoJo, as much as I thought he fought well, I saw one weakness that most Mexican fighters have, and Fortuna wasn't able to exploit because of his hands, but his feet was clearly quicker than JoJo's. And it will be the same if he fought Devin Haney. Devin Haney boxes and moves, keeps that jab pumping, which he's got an amazing jab. He will get JoJo to walk onto a lot of shots. And because JoJo ain't got the foot speed to catch him, the problem with Devin, with I'll keep it real. The reason why JoJo has beaten the fighters who he's beaten in the last few opponents is because their offense has been poor. Let's keep it real. The same way you discredit Fortuna, we can talk about Tevin Farmer. His offense is the same thing. Tremendous defense, probably the best defense in the game. But his offense ain't that great. And that's what let him down in the JoJo fight. He just didn't land enough punches. And it's the same thing with Fortuna. Just didn't land enough punches.
No, I agree with that. JoJo feet is slow. He got very slow feet. Like he's not stiff, but he's not fluid either. Like he
ain't got a bounce.
He don't have no bounce. Tony's reviews, he said, I'm only waiting for someone to yell over the horn. There's only one Tyson Fury.
That's funny.
That is hilarious, Joe. That is hilarious. YSM said JoJo looks good in spots, but Devin outboxes him 8 rounds to 4.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing. It depends on what Devin tries to do. The problem with Devin is sometimes Devin tries to go macho, and that would be the wrong thing against JoJo, because if JoJo don't have to go looking for you, he's gonna outwork you in the pocket. That's just the facts. He will outwork you in the pocket.
And to play devil's advocate, as far as the YSM said, I think Devin will sit right there in the pocket. I think he'll sit right there in the pocket. I don't think he
because JoJo ain't got pop.
Yeah, he ain't got pop. Yeah, JoJo ain't got pop. He's just gonna sit. He just gonna sit, and he just gonna.
He could get outworked. He could get outworked.
Yeah, he could get outworked. Because I'm like, nobody ever made Devin fight 3 minutes every round either. Facts. JoJo definitely gonna make him work. You want to take this next time, Shane?
Yeah.
Go ahead, take that, bro.
Devin Haney versus JoJo is going to be hard for both fighters. Haney can possibly outspeed him. However, JoJo incredibly tough. And being that Haney doesn't have the hardest punches, JoJo could walk through him. The problem is when you walk through someone, you have to have the speed with your feet to walk through it as well. I've seen fighters, like for example, Derek Chisora versus Usyk. Usyk didn't have the power to deter Usyk. Usyk didn't have the power to deter Chisora. His feet was just too slow. We couldn't catch him. And that's the problem. When you're chasing someone, you can walk through their power, but you got to get there to let your shots off. JoJo is a one-range fighter. He fights at one range. So he needs to be up in the pocket to get his success off. I like JoJo's pocket fighting. He's a brilliant pocket fighter. But you got to get to the pocket.
Yeah, I think Tony, just to address your statement, let's get this straight. Haney is not a feather-fisted guy, so it's not going to be. People don't think he has the power that he should have, but he's not no feather-fisted dude. The reason why Devin Haney doesn't get the knockouts he probably should get is because he has a flaw in his offensive game that I've been saying since the beginning of his career. Devin Haney doesn't have a slow game in terms of his punch variety. No. He has everything is the same speed. Everything is the same speed.
Can I tell people the problem with that? There's a common saying, you get the ones you don't see are the ones that knock you out.
You see all this
stuff. When everything's the same speed, you can brace yourself for impact because you can see it coming because it's the same speed.
Right.
If I'm gonna throw 5 punches at a certain speed, you don't need to be Nostradamus to know that the 6th punch is gonna be at that speed.
Yeah, everything is a fastball with Devin Haney. Everything is a
That's why they get so much knockouts. because Wilder explodes into punches. He'll literally be doing nothing and just bang.
Yeah,
just lightning strikes in a box.
Yeah, like he even and I'm gonna say this name, people gonna get mad, but when Broner lets his hands go, he understands the concept of throwing 2 or 3 soft ones to get a heavy one in. Remember the fight when in round 12 when he threw like the 3-punch combination? It was like the first 2 was soft, and then he threw that crazy ass uppercut and knocked the dude down in the 12th round. Like Broner's capable of doing stuff like that.
He done that to Porter.
He did it to Porter. Yeah, like he's done it to Porter. Like, but that's a skill set. That's a skill set, and Haney just doesn't have it. So he doesn't hit. He doesn't surprise guys with shots, or hits guys with shots they don't see. That's why he doesn't get the knockouts. It's not the fact that he's not strong, he's not powerful, and things like that. Everything. If you in baseball, if all your pitches are fastballs, if you don't know how to throw a curveball, change a slider, like you're not gonna. More than likely, your batter's gonna catch up with you.
It's one of the things that Eubank struggled with early in his career. You remember early in Eubank's career, he was throwing everything at 100 miles an hour, and he was getting stoppages, but a lot of guys were getting stopped on their feet because he was just overwhelming them with shots. But he wasn't knocking dudes out. But when he knocked out Yildirim, if you look at that one, he throws a weak left hook, a weak right hand, and then fires with a powerful left hook. And then after that, he starts exploding into action. But you got to change up the speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get in these comments real quick. YSM, if you watch Devin versus Shakur sparring, Devin can fight on the inside when he wants to or when you make him. See, that's my thing. Like, it's not about him fighting on the inside. I think he can fight on the inside too. It's just
unnecessary.
Yeah, it's unnecessary for him because it's like if he is so skilled on the outside despite him not having that change in speed. But I think as he goes up in competition, he fights a JoJo, he fights a Fortuna, like guys like that after 3 rounds, they're gonna start seeing them shots coming. And we haven't seen Devin Haney have to make adjustments in fight, like in game.
If I'm Devin Haney and I fight JoJo, I'll just tell him, bro, first 5 rounds, let this guy come and get you. Just keep that jab up. The truth is, JoJo's punch output is going to reduce drastically because he ain't going to be able to get to him. So all of that pocket fighting that you see JoJo doing ain't going to be there. If Devin Haney decides, you know what, I'm going to stay in the pocket and trade with you, then you're going to start having problems. Because as much as Devin Haney can fight in the pocket, that's JoJo's game. JoJo wants everybody to fight in the pocket because the truth is, bro, this guy's got great punch selection. Whether he's fast or not, he picks his shots well. That's just the facts.
Yeah. And the thing is, if I'm Devin Haney, if I'm fighting JoJo Diaz, the first quarter of the fight, jabs to the head, stab jabs to the chest. And when I get on the inside, I'm just working body first 3-4 rounds. And then pretty much after round 4, JoJo is going to slow down. Even if he's not tired, it's gonna look like he's slowing down because his feet.
And he will cut as well.
He's gonna get cut. And if you want to cut a guy that's prone to getting cut, the jab is your best weapon. Your jab is the best weapon to open up a cut, like an old cut on a fighter. And Devin Haney got one of the best jabs in the game. So I think from a strategy standpoint, I think Devin Haney's strategy is really simple. Even with JoJo's strategy is really simple. Like, get Devin Haney in the pocket, make sure he ain't boxing, turn it into a fight. Like, the strategies is real simple. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really, really simple. Now I can say this though, Devin Haney can't pull a situation where he's gonna fight JoJo's fight all fight and think he's gonna be okay. This not gonna be a situation where when Cool Boy Steph or Angelo Leo. Like when we was like, why are you sitting on the inside? And then we found out what we found out about Cool Boy. We was like, oh, we know why. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Shane.
Well, the thing is, if he boxes, people be like, wait a minute, this guy's boxing with a guy that's lighter than him. Like he's running. So he's in a lose-lose, basically.
He's in a lose-lose. He's in a lose-lose. And I don't think Devin Haney would get JoJo up out of there. I don't think he would get him up out of there because it's a lose-lose situation. Because if he goes to war with a 130-pounder, they gonna say he ain't got no pop. If he goes around and boxes his ears off,
I'll go through the comments because I want to address
I got you. YSM, he said I agree. Knockouts are less about power and more about timing. Exactly. Said good example. Yeah, Emmanuel Taylor. He had Emmanuel Taylor with that left uppercut. That was a good fight too. And that ring was small as hell. That ring was super small. Like, it was like a match.
I don't remember the ring. I remember the fight though. I don't remember the ring.
That ring size is small as hell, man. Like it was like a matchbox ring. That joint was crazy.
He should have got Billy Joe Saunders' dad to start making some complaints.
Right. Tony's reviews, he said, I don't know. JoJo is extremely good at cutting off the ring. I'm not saying that JoJo beats Devin, but I am 99.99% positive that he's going to be stuck to Devin like glue.
I watched him in the what's it called fight, in the Gary Russell fight, and I thought he ain't that great at cutting off the ring.
Tony's reviews. Can you give us a fight where JoJo effectively cut off the ring? I can't.
He's gonna say Farmer, but I thought Farmer done a lot of work for him because the truth is, Farmer isn't really a runner. He's a pocket fighter with amazing pocket defense, and he likes to stay in the. Even when he fought John O'Carroll, he stood in the pocket. He just caught everything, and that's probably what he tried to do against JoJo. But he caught a lot of shots. But he didn't fire anything off. So
Tony, if you're thinking the Tevin Farmer fight in terms of him cutting the ring off, Tevin Farmer really gave JoJo an open invitation. Like, he really gave him an open invitation. It's not like Tevin Farmer was actually running and he had to go track him down. Nah, it wasn't that. It was just Tevin Farmer was catching shots like he usually does. He just wasn't returning nothing. And if a guy throws 10 shots and you catch everything, but you only throw 2, the guy that threw 10 shots is going to get the round. You know what I'm saying? Even though his shots got blocked. You know what I mean? Why is something? He said, I think Oscar lets Ryan fight JoJo instead of Devin.
I don't think so. I think after that Luke Campbell fight, they're scared to put him with anyone that can beat that can potentially beat him. And the truth is, I can't see Ryan Garcia outworking JoJo Diaz. So that means he has to stop him. That's the problem. Because Ryan ain't a great boxer. Ryan can't box like that. So Ryan's going to have to fight in the pocket, which means you're going to get outworked by a dude who's tremendously good in the pocket, and you're going to have to try and stop him. I am not saying you can't stop him, but again, I don't like those odds.
I actually agree with YSM on this one, because it's the less dangerous fight. Like, with JoJo having slow feet, he presents less problems than a Devin Haney would. So in a general sense, I agree with YSM on that comment, but in an overall sense, Ryan would have problems with either fight. He would still have problems with either fight. He could possibly lose that fight to JoJo.
That's what I think. I don't think he will lose, but it's the chart that there's a higher percentage in what people will be thinking.
Yeah, Rocky Rodriguez says, I agree with Jeff. Ryan versus JoJo next. I think you said that, Shane.
Now I think JoJo will fight Devin.
Yeah, I think JoJo's fighting Devin next, me personally. But I just, the thing is with Ryan Garcia is kind of like, Ryan really doesn't have a reason to fight JoJo.
No.
He don't have a reason to fight JoJo.
The truth is, if he fights JoJo and beats JoJo, it's going to make him more inclined to have to fight Devin Haney. And I just don't think he wants that Haney work. He wants that Tank work, but I don't know why he wants that Tank work, because Tank will ice him out.
Tank would knock Ryan Garcia out in 4 rounds.
And I think it would be a horrible knockout as well. I think
it'll be bad because that Luke Campbell knockdown, I'm like, if Tank lands that shot, which more than likely he probably would, he's night, and that happened in the 2nd round.
That would probably ruin his career.
Yeah, that's not a smart fight for Ryan Garcia at all against a Tank. I just nah. You know what? as crazy as Oscar De La Hoya is, even though Fortuna lost, they still might put him up against. They still might put Ryan Garcia up against Fortuna. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, if they've done that, that would be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be embarrassing, but this is Oscar we're talking about, so I wouldn't be surprised. Tony's reviews, he said he stayed on top of several fighters. Here's to bake a few. Rivera, Garcia, Proa, and many more.
I'll answer that. Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Shane. You got it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I won't act like I've seen all of those dudes fight 100 times, but what I have seen of those fighters, none of them are out and out runners. That's what I would say. Especially Garcia. Especially Garcia. Garcia is not a runner.
Tony's reviews, I would say the true test of seeing if a guy can cut off the ring is if he's fighting a guy where his main objective is to be on the move. You understand what I'm saying? Like
when we were talking about Castano earlier today, when he fought Lara was running and he had to cut off the ring against Lara.
That's a classic example. That's a classic example. Yes.
So that's kind of how I judge it. Like, to me, at times Fortuna was running, and he didn't cut off the ring against Fortuna that well. It's just that Fortuna got no offense. He literally got no offense. So at some point, you're gonna have to do the work for me, because you can run, but you're not landing any punches. So you're gonna have to do the work by stepping in.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, and it's like people like to say cut off the ring. There's like less than like 2% of the sport that's actually good at it.
Yeah.
So like I don't even like saying cutting off the ring. Like people say it all the time, but I'm like, it's so many elements before you can say a guy has to cut off the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? In order for you to make your point. For me, I'm like, can you close the distance and get your work off? Like, that's how I look at it. Can you close the distance and get your work off? Because you don't necessarily have to cut off the ring against a mover. You can I said, if you can move too, then you can get your work off on the move. Like, people be like, oh no, well, he got to cut the ring off. He got to make the guy stop. You don't have to make the guy stop. I said, you can throw. I said, you can have a guy like that. A guy that's moving, especially in the same direction. I said, you can throw. I said, you can throw. You can have him run in the shots.
It's like Pacquiao when he fought Furman. Furman was moving. Yeah. Pacquiao just threw while he was moving.
Yeah, he threw while he was moving. Yeah, like, so you don't necessarily have to cut off the ring to get your offense off. And it's hard to tell people that because they be like, oh, nah, you got to cut off the ring. And I'm like, and I'd be like, name 10 fighters is good at cutting off the ring. Like,
you know, crazy thing. Like, a lot of guys who get knockouts when they're chasing a dude, they're in actually very bad position because they're chasing them.
That's how Valdez got the knockout.
Exactly. Because they're chasing them. Personally, so many people chase, then wait till their feet's planted to land power shots. That is a very bad way of doing it.
And this is a class. This is This is the first time I probably ever brought this saying out. But I've never seen a boxer chase a guy with his chin down.
That's a good point.
I've never seen a boxer chase somebody with his chin down.
That's a lie. I said, I remember
chase.
Oh yeah, that's true. Chase. Remember when that's true. I agree with you. Chase is different. Remember when that dude fought Boots? That Russian dude fought Boots. I swear to God, in my life, I've never seen a guy literally. He must have glued his chin to his chest the whole fight. This guy had his chin. I don't remember his name. He had it's like a Russian name, like.
I don't remember his name neither. I know what you're talking about.
He's like a short Russian dude.
Yeah.
Early in Boots' career. And literally, this dude fought with his chin down the whole fight. Like, he didn't lift his head up at any stage.
He wasn't chasing though.
No, you weren't chasing. You weren't chasing.
When you're chasing a guy, your chin 9.9 out of 10 is up. And if you sit If you sit down and catch them coming in, is night night. You know what I'm saying? YSM, JoJo, and Ryan is an in-house fight. That's a good point. That's a good point. Damn, that's a good point. YSM. That damn. Yeah, that changes things. But it's still risky though. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, Fortuna's kind of in-house. And he didn't take that fight, Ryan Garcia, so it's kind of in-house Fortuna, kind of.
He took it, but you know, he had mental health issues. I think him and YSM was partying, yo. Like real shit. I think them two was partying.
No, it would be him and Blunt.
Nah, him and Blunt was partying. He might be in rehab somewhere. So.
It would be him, Blunt, and Emmanuel Tegu.
Yeah, that's his favorite fighter, yo. Like,
Emmanuel Tegu versus Ryan Garcia. That's what I want to see. Just because of YSM, just because of Blunt.
Yo, and the thing is, yo, and I gotta ask Blunt this too. Like, if you notice, he always brings up Tegu, but he don't ever say what he does well, like technically.
Oh yeah.
Like, he gives a lot of general statements.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, he'd be mopping up that work. He's mopping up that work.
I'm like, yo, like, what does he do? Like, because I think the last time he brought him up, I said, have you watched enough tape of him to actually come up with the determinations that you coming up with? He said, yeah, I did.
No, I believe him. I
don't believe that. I don't believe that bullshit. I think he watched highlights. I believe what he said the first time. He watched highlights of Tegu and like what he saw.
But he might have after that. He might have gone and watched. After that, he might have.
Shane, we could talk off camera. You tell me how many fights you can find of Emmanuel Tegu, and that's how we'll know if he's lying or not.
That's true.
That's my guy. That's my guy too. I love Blunt to death. That's like a brother to me. But Rocky Rodriguez, Ryan better stay far away from Tank. That's a fact. That's a fact. Tony's reviews, Ryan KO's Tank, in my opinion. Wow. Ooh. Hold on, I'm gonna keep reading. Luke is around the same size as Ryan. No. Tank is 5'5", and he struggled with Barrios, who was a blown up 122-pound fighter. All right, hold on. I gotta like decode everything you. I gotta decode. I gotta decode.
Check you as well.
Yeah, I gotta decode. I gotta decode you, Tony's reviews. Okay, first of all, Barrios is not a blown up 122-pounder. That's number one.
That's number one.
Yeah, that's number one. Like, he's not going to be the 140-pound regular champion. He's a blown up 122. He had
even when you look at it like that's kind of irrelevant because he struggled. He struggled with Barrios because the truth is, and let's just keep it real. The truth is, Tank didn't have punch output in the first half of the fight. He didn't have punch output. But the difference is, I know that's true. But the difference with that is that ain't have nothing to do with Barrios' weight. That was just down to Tank. I personally think Tank is not used to fighting at 140, and he didn't trust his tank, his gas tank. No pun intended. I don't think he trusted it. He's fighting at 140, additional weight. He's an explosive fighter. I don't think he trusted his engine. The other part that I definitely disagree with is when he's talking about Luke Campbell. The difference with that is I've seen Luke Campbell so much times fight. And one thing I know about Luke Campbell is Luke Campbell is another fighter who's a one-range fighter. Long and mid-range, but not even that much mid-range, mainly long. That shot he knocked out Ryan with, Ryan got caught in transition. Bro, there's nobody at 135 that's catching dudes in transition better than Tank. Nobody. That's a fact. Tank catches every fighter in transition because Tank plays with range. Luke don't play with range. The difference is Luke is just, Ryan Garcia was just that fundamentally flawed that someone as flawed offensively as Luke Campbell was able to exploit the mistake you made. That's the truth.
And let me add on to that too. Tank, yes, he's only 5'5", but he's one of the best in the business at closing the distance. He's one of the best in the business at closing the distance, and that's what makes up for the height. Um, and then I think he got a 68-inch reach too, so he doesn't have short arms.
But I feel like he brought up the worst example ever because you should have never. The Luke Campbell knockout is the exact same reason why I think Tank will knock him out. Because if there's anyone who can replicate what Luke Campbell done, is Tank. Forget height. It's because he made the biggest fundamental mistake, Jeff. We always talk about it. You left the back door with your hands down. You can't do that against Tank. I don't care if you're 6'6".
That's a fact.
You can't do that against Tank, bro. You can't do that against Tank.
There's some standard sayings that we say on this channel, and that might be one of the main ones. Like, you leave out the back door with your hands down, you asking for it.
And Tank, someone like Tank, oh my gosh, you get tired.
And Ryan Garcia, he kind of reminds me of Fury in the sense of when he leaves out the back door, he's so used to getting away with it with his hands down because he just doesn't expect the opponent to be able to reach him. That's why because his dimensions and his speed, and he feel like because his speed is such a threat, he always has guys on the back foot or not leaning forward. So when he tries to back out the back door, they just can't get there. They can't close.
And they don't follow him up. They just throw a single and miss and don't follow him up. Tank's following. But I've seen Tank try knock someone out and he ends up on top of them or running over them because of how he fights, bro.
Tank literally be tanking people. Like, he literally runs, like, you know when they say punch through the target? Like, he literally be trying to punch through the target. Like, he will follow Ryan Garcia out the back door, and it's night. That's why I said within 4 rounds, Ryan Garcia is going night. Like, he's going night because all of that, because the most Ryan can do with Tank is stay on the outside and just pot shot 1s and 2s. But Ryan Garcia is so confident in his speed, he's gonna throw 3-4 shots and he's just gonna leave himself open for something big. I don't like that fight. Tony's reviews, you know, you family, but I completely disagree with you on that comment. Let's see what else you're bringing though. He said we can make a gentleman's bet. JoJo will cut off the ring against Devin. 9 out of 10, it will be Devin's next fight. JoJo is now the mandatory. Are we doing a gentleman's bet on Devin and JoJo, or are we doing one on Ryan and Tank?
The truth is, I think JoJo will fight Devin Haney. But what I think the reason why I think that JoJo might cut off the ring is because I think Devin Haney might stay in the pocket because JoJo ain't got no pop. But if Devin was to run, I don't think he would cut off the ring.
Yeah, Tony's reviews. What are we making a gentleman's bet on? Or are we making it on Ryan Garcia and Tank? Because if that's the case, we wouldn't even be friends if I took that bet with you. I wouldn't even, like, I consider us boxing buddies, and that wouldn't be a fair bet. But if that's what you want to do, you know, we can bet a couple cheesesteaks on that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Rocky Rodriguez, cut off the ring isn't chasing Shane.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, that's not a one size fit all.
That you can never say that because I can bring up examples right now where dude's running, and in order for him to cut off the ring, he had to chase him. Like, there's no way, 2 ways about it. Sometimes it is.
Canelo and Lara.
I was just about to say that. Canelo and Lara, bro. He had to literally had to chase him. Some fighters, bro, they're just so fast with their feet. You have to, like, bro. Some fighters' feet are so quick. You have to chase them. You literally have to chase them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on. Tony's reviews. Barrios started at 122. Yes, he is a blown up 122-pound fighter. Barrios is naturally smaller than Garcia. Garcia, who is 5'10", just like Barrios. Garcia is also much faster than Barrios. All right.
Okay.
Tony's, go ahead. You go first. You go first. You might say what I'm getting ready to say. Go ahead.
Canelo started at 147. Does that mean he's a blown up 168 like that? Tank started at 130. Does that mean he's a blown up 135? Bro, I don't. Just because a fighter transitions through the weight classes, don't mean that they're a blown up fighter. Because it just means as naturally they evolve and they grow. Fighters grow, they get bigger. Yeah. Crawford was at 135. He's now at 147. Pacquiao was at 108 or whatever, and he moved up to 154. Like, it's just the way it is.
Yeah,
and
you can't.
idea that Garcia is fast is a lie. It's all a myth. It's in people's head. Garcia has fast hands. That's it. He doesn't have fast feet and he doesn't have good head movement. So how is he fast? He just has fast hands.
He has hand speed. Like, he has hand speed. When I think of a fighter being fast, you have to have a little bit more than hand speed. I'm thinking quick reflexes, transitioning from offense to defense, defense to offense. That's what makes a guy fast. So
being able to maneuver around the ring quickly.
There's a lot of different aspects to being fast. But if you just talking hand speed, I'll give it to you.
Of course, but nobody can complain. No, you can't say that Ryan Garcia doesn't have fast hands. But that doesn't mean he's fast.
I mean, he's top five, you know, as far as fastest hands in the sport. Like, I'll give you that. But there's a lot of other aspects of being fast in the sport, and he doesn't have a lot of those other
aspects. Amir Khan had fast hands, but it doesn't mean he was one of the fastest. Amir Khan had poor head movement. So how
he
was he
slow? Fast? He was slow in so many other areas that the hand speed really just, you know, it was kind of like an add-in almost. YSM, Ryan has more defensive flaws than Tank. That Tank could capitalize on in Barrios.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. That's 100% fact.
The truth is, and I'll tell you right now, Barrios can catch better than Ryan.
Yeah. Like, and the thing was, Barrios ain't fight bad in the fight. Like, I mean, I know he was down on the cards. Yeah, I know he was down on the cards, but I mean, he didn't fight. He didn't fight bad. Like, Barrios is not a bad fighter. He's not a bad fighter. Like, I'm not a fan of regular belts, but he had a version of a belt, like, for a reason. Like, so Barrios, for Tank to fight somebody in the top 10, going up 10 pounds technically, you gotta commend that. You gotta commend that. You know what I'm saying? We got
the reason why I don't commend it is purely and simply because he didn't do that with the intentions to fight anybody else top at that division.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was his promoter, though.
Yeah, I know.
Can't. Like, that's his promoter. But no, I hear what you're saying, though. Tony's reviews said Luke is 5'9" and Garcia is 5'10". That's true. They are practically the same height. There is a range factor. Tank will not have the same range. Ryan was always in danger to be hit, as Luke and Ryan's range is the same. That's not true. But I'm gonna let Shane go. I'm gonna let Shane go.
The reason why you're getting confused is because Luke fights at one range, and that's long range. The shot he caught him with was short range. So the reason why you're saying he was always in range for that to happen, it would make sense if you caught him with a jab or like a straight right hand, or something where the punch is at the end of the extension. What you're forgetting is he caught him at a close distance. Luke Campbell, and I'm telling you this for a fact, Luke Campbell is not an inside fighter. That's just the facts. He doesn't have a good close range game. So that range finder that you're talking about only applied, as you said, they're 5'9", 5'10", so there's an inch in it. Both tall fighters, both long fighters, that only counts when the fight's long. If the fight's close, then all of a sudden that range, it don't matter anymore. It literally don't matter, because now they're fighting at a distance where even if you're 5'1", you're still going to be able to land that punch because it's close range. If it was at long range, then I'd understand. If he caught him with a straight right hand or a straight left hand at the end of a punch, then I'm like, you know what? Tank don't really throw that punch, and the distance is a bit too far. But he caught him with a shot that was short. Shane said
a lot of things I wanted to say. The one thing that I will add is the thing about Tank at 5'5", because Tank is so athletic, he actually controls the range as the shorter guy. He actually controls the range as the shorter guy. And let me break this down this way. So when you have the type of dynamic offensive style that Tank has, all of his opponents are on high alert. When you're on high alert, then you can't get reckless with your distance, which allows Tank to actually control the distance. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to get, even though he's 5'5", the most you can do with Tank is try to jab him and keep him on the outside. But when you're athletically gifted and you have the type of hand speed and power that Tank has, if that's all you have to bank on, you're not going to get away with that all night. And that's my point. Like, you're not going to get away with that all night, which is, so it's cool that somebody's 5'9" or 5'10", but because Tank is so dynamic, he actually controls the distance at 5'5". That's why he was able to get the Barrios. And with Ryan Garcia, he's less disciplined than Barrios. So it'd be easier for him to get the Ryan Garcia than it was
for Barrios. Defensive floor. He makes way more defensive floor.
That's why Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia made the biggest defensive flaw that you can make in boxing, and that's when you back up, don't back up with your hands down. Anybody in boxing will tell you that. If you want to back up, you got to back up with your hands up, and he backed up with his hands down. Bro, if you do that against Tank, you're waking up tomorrow.
Yeah, you waking. Yeah, your electricity getting turned off, like, for sure. Suaro, he said, can't wait till Garcia versus Tank so I can put up a band with Shane. Ryan will wake you people up soon. Hey, Shane, yo, that's like the third person that done mentioned your name specifically.
But to be fair, no offense, a lot of these dudes are Mexicans and they're gonna support their boy, which I expect.
That's true.
I expect that.
True. That's a fact.
I think he's Mexican or Mexican originated. Suaro, I'm pretty sure he was telling us he was Mexican. I don't know where Tony's originated from, but my point is, again, like, you're gonna support the person who you support. Personally, I'm not American or Mexican, so I have no allegiance to any fighter.
Yeah. Suaro, we can definitely line that up. Because I'm taking Tank on that one, like, for sure. Tony's reviews, he said, I'm telling you, Tank is going to end up looking like Fonseca. Tony, come on.
The difference with that is Ryan Garcia was scared of Fonseca's power. He's going to be scared of Tank's power.
That's my point. That's my point. Yo, anybody that walks in the ring with Tank, they're already on high alert before the bell rings.
Well, this thing was on high alert about Campbell, and Campbell ain't cracking.
Yeah, like, Tony's reviews, we gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. He said that was right, I guess, a long time ago. The bet is that JoJo will be able to stay on top of Devin for a majority of the fight, especially early. No, I agree with that. We ain't got to.
I don't think that's going to be down to his footwork. I just think that's going to be down to Devin Haney's game plan.
Yeah, Devin Haney's just going to be there. Like, we're not arguing that.
Well, you got to remember his pride. Devin Haney ain't going to be looking at that. Why am I letting some small little guy make me?
Exactly.
That's how he's going to be looking at it.
Yeah, he's going to sit right in the pocket and go and get the work. Tony's reviews, Barrios is blown up because he beat no one at 140. He's done nothing moving to 140. He's not a real champion. Taylor is the undisputed period. Barrios get KO'd by Postal, Regis, Taylor, Ramirez, and etc. The dude is a cherry pick who will never beat a top 10 140-pound fighter. But, bro, that has nothing to do with whether he's blown up. Blown up is physical. We talking about physically, genetics. Like, you mentioned a lot of fighting stuff.
Rigondeaux was blown up when he fought Loma. That was blown up. When he fought Loma, that's blown up. When Rigondeaux moved.
Oh, Rigondeaux, yeah. He wasn't even blown up. He was just small.
But he fought Loma.
Yeah, he was so small.
Yeah, he was just small.
He was just small. Yeah, but that's an example of somebody, but that was that quote unquote, I'm moving up in weight, I'm daring to be great and all that other yada yada. YSM, Tony's reviews.
Mikey's a blown up 147. That's what I would tell you.
Yeah.
Mikey's a blown up 147.
Yeah. YSM said Tony's reviews, you didn't factor in the Barrios like most Mexican fighters turn pro around 16 years old, so they aren't fully developed men. So him being 122 at that time isn't the same as like a Leo. No, that's true. That's true as well. He's talking about Santa Cruz. Tony's reviews. German on Instagram. What's going on? He says, "Say, pass me a bowo." What? Man, I don't know, man. What's going on with you, player? Tony's reviews: being in danger at range has nothing to do with where they fight. What it means is if we are around the same height at reach, then no matter where the fight happens, you are at risk of being hit. Hold on.
That's a lie.
I think he typed something else too. Hold on. And reach. He said, and reach. Yeah, I got you.
No,
Shane, you want to attack that, bro?
The reason why that's a lie is because if I have the same reach as you, that doesn't mean wherever I am, I'm going to be in danger. You said wherever they fight, they're going to be in danger. The reason why that's a lie is because some fighters don't have the inside game. So I'll give you an example, very good example. When Tyson Fury fought what's it called? When Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, the number one, Derek Chisora versus Tyson Fury, first fight. Whenever Derek Chisora came in and the fight was in the pocket, Tyson Fury had to hold, because what he was realizing was, guess what? This guy's arm's shorter than mine. So his punches were reaching the distance quicker than mine because my arms are longer. When someone's there, basic maths, if I, just like basic physics, if my arms are shorter, that means it has less distance to travel, so I'm going to reach the destination faster. My arms are longer, it's going to take me more time because I have more distance to travel. So if your arms are longer, like both Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell have long arms, if they fight at close range, bro, that he's not comfortable fighting at close range. So landing up, Ryan Garcia isn't always going to be at range, because if they're literally on top of each other, how is Luke Campbell going to get the leverage to land the punch? He's going to be on top of him. It's the same reason why we always say about Robert Easter, like when he's fighting in the pocket. Bro, you got long arms, use them long arms. If you're in the pocket, it's harder for you to land punches if you've got longer arms. That's just the facts. It's literally just the facts. You can't. Yeah, that's why Wilder don't get much knockouts at close range, because of the range. His arms are longer than most of his opponents. That's just the facts.
Yeah, let me read his comment again for the people just coming in. He said, being in danger at range has nothing to do with where they fight. What it means is if we are around the same height and reach, then no matter where the fight happens, you are at risk of being hit.
No,
to add on to what Shane said, and again, I agree with a lot of what Shane said. The thing is, Tony's reviews, your statement is really one-sided. And the reason it's one-sided is because you haven't brought up skill set within your statement. Like, just because not every fighter can fight on the outside. Not every fighter can fight on the inside. So I'll give you a prime example. So take a Robert Easter, right? Take a Robert Easter Jr. He fights at 140. Let's just say he's fighting, let me see. Let's just say he's fighting Barrios, right? He's fighting Barrios at 140. They're similar in height, similar in weight, similar in reach and all of that, right? I would say that Robert Easter Jr. is the better boxer. I think he has the better boxing ability. I think he has more boxing craft than Mario Barrios. So taking your comment, they're the same height, same reach. If that fight was to happen, and this is just one example, if that fight was to happen, then the risk of being hit is still different for both guys. It's still different for both guys. Like for Barrios, he's, like there's a less of a chance that he's going to be in trouble if he's really on the outside, because that's not Robert Easter's game. Robert Easter can box, don't get me wrong, but with Robert Easter would be better off being up close because that's his game. That's his wheelhouse. Even though they're the same height, same reach, and all of that. at the end of the day, it still comes down to skill set and where does fighters fight best at when it comes down to distance. Some guys can fight no matter what. Like that's what make them great. They can fight on the inside, they can fight on the outside, they can fight mid-range, they can fight on the back foot, fight on the front foot. Not all fighters can do that. Most fighters can't do that. I think I see what you're saying, but you're leaving the skill element out of it. Like you have to add some type of skill element to your statement. So I actually want to see what you got to say in regards to that. Bruce Goes, what's going on? He said G5 Jeff TV and Super Shane. Big shout out to you, Bruce Goes. Swaro said all this talking is nonsense. Mayweather won't let Tank fight Garcia because Tank will get exposed. It's facts. Mayweather isn't confident in Tank, and that says something. I'm gonna let Shane read that one. Shane, hold on, bro. I want you to read this one. You came in right on time. Go ahead and read that.
All this talking is nonsense. Mayweather won't let Tank fight Garcia because Tank will get exposed. It's facts. Mayweather isn't confident in Tank, and that says something. Mayweather isn't confident in Tank. I agree with that. Mayweather likes to keep everything under control and in-house. I agree with that as well. I agree. But just because a manager isn't confident in a fighter don't mean that the fighter won't beat him.
That's a fact.
The facts is Golden Boy wasn't confident in putting Canelo in with Andrade. But I think Canelo beats Andrade. But they weren't confident in making that fight. That's just the facts. That is literally just the facts.
Right. So, and it was it was Canelo. It wasn't Oscar. It wasn't Golden Boy. That was a Canelo decision. Like, yo, I don't want to fight Andrade.
And I think Canelo beats Andrade.
And I think Canelo beats Andrade just because with Andrade, it's been so long since somebody's actually been in front of him and can actually like really, really get down fighting. Like it'd take for Andrade to make the adjustments, and the cards are stacked against him in a 12-round fight against Canelo. Like I actually think Canelo will win that fight, but like I always say in that situation, Canelo's fans are more confident than he is. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Tony's reviews, he said it's not a lie. If me and you have the same height and range, it means when I can hit you, you can hit me. It doesn't matter where you're good or bad at. If we are the same, again, we can touch each other. Tony, can I get at this real quick, Shane? Okay. So, Tony, you're a hardcore boxing fan, right? You're a hardcore boxing fan. I'm just surprised you're not adding the skill. You're not implementing the skill element. Like, it's just, bro, it's just like, if it's basketball, if we the same height and the same reach, and I'm dribbling the ball, that doesn't mean you have a better chance of stealing the ball from me. That doesn't mean you have a better chance of, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, Shane.
Go to Tony's comment. Go to Tony's comment, his last one. I know we're gonna skip a comment. The one that he just put.
The one he just put. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, we're gonna skip a comment. I apologize.
I'm just gonna read both of them, but I'm gonna put the last one up. He said, "You may be bad at range, but you can still touch at range. That's a skill set that has nothing to do with being at risk." I'm gonna read this one. He said, "Example, since he was brought up, Wilder, he is bad in the pocket. However, he hit Spilka in the pocket and put him into a seizure. He's hard in the pocket, but still landed a lucky shot."
Can I explain that? I'm glad you brought up Wilder. You should have never said that. Wilder, similar dimensions to Fury, similar height, similar reach. When they were both in the pocket, Wilder could not hit Fury, but Fury could hit Wilder. Why is that? Because going by your logic, they're the same height, they're the same reach. So when Fury was walking down Wilder, why could Wilder not hit Fury, but Fury could hit Wilder? Literally, there's a specific clip where Fury hits Wilder with a body shot. This is not the one that drops him. Fury hits Wilder with a body shot, and Wilder tries to throw this snapping right hand, and literally, bro, it didn't go anywhere near Fury. He couldn't even touch him. Couldn't touch him, bro. That's my prime example right there. What they using your logic of height and reach. 1 6'7", 1 6'8". One has what 70 something in 81 inch reach. One has 79 inch reach. Bro, they're 2 inches in it.
And there's plenty of guys that Floyd has been in the ring with. James Toney's been in the ring with. Pernell Whitaker has been in the ring with. Loma has been in the ring with, and there's
Kevin Farmer's been in the ring.
Farmer is similar in size and height and reach. And it's just the skill set, the reason why the guys can't touch them. That's why I'm so surprised you're not. I understand. Like, I'm just shocked. Tony's reviews, he's also said danger has nothing to do with skill set. Skill set has to do with how successful you are, where you are. Danger means that a mistake can get you hurt. It's different. Danger still exists even when skill isn't as good. You want me to take that one?
No, I'll take it, because the thing that the mistake, again, I felt like you didn't identify was when we're relating it back to Ryan Garcia, is when you add the fact that he made the mistake of at close range trying to leave out, he dropped his hands. So the reason why I feel like you're forgetting what you're saying is kind of irrelevant, and I mean that with the most respect, is because what he done against Luke, he can do the exact same thing against Tank. You're saying that because Luke has long arms and longer arms than Tank won't be able to replicate what Luke was able to do. What you're not understanding is it was at close range. So I don't understand why, if the guy's like 5 inches away from you, someone with shorter arms can't throw a punch that's in the same distance. I don't understand how that makes sense, because you made the mistake. So the danger is there. The danger is there. You made the mistake and you're at close range. If Luke Campbell can do it, who is not a close range fighter, I'll put a brand on it that Tank can do it. It's just, I don't see how there's a difference. As I keep saying, if he landed a straight right hand at long range, I could understand. But he landed a close shot. It was a close shot, literally a yard away from each other.
I feel, Tony, I feel like Shane's saying the same thing. We understand what you're saying from just a pure physical standpoint, but you got to factor this in, bro. Boxers make mistakes all the time inside of the ring. It's up to the skill of the opposing fighter whether the mistake gets magnified. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that throw a lazy jab. There's a lot of guys that throw a lazy jab, but you fight a bum, they're gonna let you get away with that lazy jab. You fight a guy like James Toney in his prime, he's waiting for a lazy jab so he can come over the top of the right hand. It still comes down to skill. Like, if you make a mistake, can your opponent capitalize on it? Like, that's the bottom line. Like, that's what it really comes down to. Even with distance, if you can close the distance, you can be the best. You can be the best in the game at closing distance. But if your inside game sucks, what does that mean? You can have some of the longest arms in the game, but if your jab sucks, what does it mean? Like, it still comes down to skill.
Fondoro.
Like, it still comes,
Sebastian Fondoro at 154.
Yeah, he's the tallest dude in the division, but he prefers to fight on the inside. So you can't ask a guy like that to jab your head off. It still comes down to skill. Like, it still comes down to skill, and we're not trying to discredit what you're saying. What we're trying to do is we're trying to add on to it to make you realize you have to add skill along with your explanation. Like, we're acknowledging what you're saying, but you have to factor in that a guy has to have certain skill sets and have the ability to expose whatever his opponent is doing or not doing in order to in order for your statement to be completely true. Like you can't just leave that out. You know what I'm saying? My guy Clarence McLean is in the building. Big shout out to Clarence McLean, man. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the 23rd. That's my guy right there. He be working. Tony's reviews. He landed a close shot fired from the shoulder. Tank is punching up. It is different. Is he talking about Luke?
Yeah.
I'll take this one. So it was a lunging shot by Luke, and Luke felt comfortable throwing the lunging shot because he knew Ryan was leaving out the back door with his hands down, and he just timed it right. So it really didn't matter if he threw it from the shoulder, the hip. It don't matter. I'm like, when you follow somebody out the back door and your hands are down and you time it, you're gonna land. Like it's the same thing happened with Wilder and Fury. It happened in round 9. It happened in round 12. Tyson Fury tried to leave out the back door with his hands down. Deontay Wilder followed him out and landed his money shot.
Even better example is Pacquiao and Furman. Last time I checked, Furman's got longer arms than Pacquiao, but he tried to leave the back door with his hands down, and Pacquiao knocked him down. Pacquiao's got shorter arms.
Pacquiao Broner tried to throw that little bullshit. He tried to throw that little bullshit combination, but it's so scripted. Pacquiao just followed him out the back door, and he stunned Broner. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Maidana and Broner as well. Maidana and Broner.
Yeah, like Broner was backing up with his chin up, and Maidana, he acted like he was throwing a shot to the body. That's what got Broner's hands down and then hit him over the top. So it's a lot of different examples of where we can add, we can say skill factors in. He said, okay, simple. If Mayweather allowed Tank to fight Ryan, then there's the bet. When Tank gets slept, make a video saying I was right. And if Tank sleeps Ryan, I'll make a video saying you guys are right. Tony, I'll do you one better, brother. We can just go on live together. Like you'll say, regardless of how it go, like we could just go live together and have a conversation about it.
What I would say, Tony, is that fight ain't gonna happen.
That fight ain't gonna happen. So we kind of just running our mouth on this one. But he said, I agree that a skill set will make you more successful. I'm not arguing that. All I'm saying is Ryan was at danger of being by Luke at all ranges. Against Tank, he will not be. There's different levels of danger though. Like Luke Campbell don't provide the same amount of danger Tank does, because Tank can do more things offensively. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, yes, Ryan Garcia is a boxing match, so all guys are in danger at all times. There's different levels of danger. Like you can't say, well, Paulie Malignaggi's the same height, so he's in danger against Paulie, but he won't be against Tank because Tank is shorter. It still comes down to, you know what I'm saying? It still comes down to skills and attributes and things like that. Who said being hit by Luke? Okay. He said, I hate cell phones. Yeah, man, I feel you. Clarence McLean said the 23rd is on. Yeah, that's gonna be a movie, bro. That's gonna be a movie for sure, man. But listen, we gonna close this joint out, man. Like matter of fact, this Wednesday or Thursday, we gonna have a special announcement for the folks. So if you're not tapped in with us on the Instagram, definitely do so. Shane, give him your Instagram. With that being said, good brother.
I_am Shane the number 1. Yeah.
You see it right there. Follow VP Shane on Instagram at I_am Shane the number 1. Big shout out to my guy BoxingFirst Vlog. This is link right here. Definitely go subscribe to him. I'm all over the place: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, G5 Jeff TV. You can DM me, message me. Hell, you can call me. I don't give a damn. Like now, I may not pick up, but you can call.
Clarence McLean told you to call him.
Yeah, I have to call him. So we're gonna definitely make that happen because we gotta line some things up for the 23rd. I know you coming to the city, so that's gonna be crazy, man. Tree and all them gonna be in the city. Clarence gonna be in the city. You know, Philly people won't be in the city like that. Yeah, 2,300 gonna be crazy. That thing gonna be crazy. And I'm gonna be in the building because I'm coming in with Tree and them. I'm gonna get my pass through Tree and them. So I'm gonna be in the building. I'm gonna be in the back. So I'm gonna be getting all that footage. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a local show, but it's gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? But man, big shout out to everybody that jumped in the chat. And the thing is, like, this is our type of chat when we really talking some, you know what I mean, really talking some hardcore stuff.
Boxing.
We talking some real boxing. So we even when we going back and forth on a conversation, we appreciate guys like Tony's Reviews and Squirrel bringing their, you know what I'm saying, bringing their expertise in to the conversation, because you know when you talking boxing, and it's a learning lesson. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you don't agree with a person, you get to learn how another person thinks and how another person views the actual same sport that you love. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all a learning experience. So, you know, but y'all know we bring a different type of experience here on G5 Jeff TV. We're going to continue to do so. If you're not following us on Instagram, please follow us on Instagram. We're gonna have a special announcement coming Wednesday or Thursday, and it's gonna be some epic shit. It's gonna be some epic shit, man.
Yeah. Just stay tuned, like tune into the lives.
Stay tuned.
Like when, like we're gonna tell everyone there's a live specifically that everybody's gonna need to be on.
Yeah, you gotta jump
on. Tony's Reviews, like Rocky Rodriguez, literally everyone.
Everybody, like we gotta, like, and we not gonna be on here for the special announcement for long. Like it's gonna be for maybe like 20-30 minutes tops, and we're gonna introduce it, and it's gonna be big. It's gonna be really big,
and that's why it's dope to follow us on social media, especially Jeff, because Jeff will send you the link when he's going live specifically. Hit the bell icon. Just for this week alone, just stay posted with us. Like, make sure you're staying with us.
Stay posted. I actually got a couple of, actually Shane don't even know this, but I got 2 guests that's supposed to be coming on for that. So I will surprise Shane on that particular day.
But that's the thing. Like, just stay posted. But most importantly, what I would say is like, hit the bell icon and all of that stuff.
Yeah, obviously. It's a game changer.
But it's for everyone's benefit. It's for all of our benefit.
Yeah, it's for everyone's
benefit.
It's a way for all of us to stay connected, and it does not cost you a dime. Like, let me make that clear. This doesn't cost you a dime. Like it's not a Patreon. It's not a what the dude said is it OnlyFans? It ain't an OnlyFans. It's not a Patreon or anything like that. But this is something that will keep all of us connected. It will keep us all linked in, and we don't have to.
But not just linked in with each other, but linked in with the sport.
With the sport of boxing
on a crazy level.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you have a YouTube channel, a lot of people feel like, unless you're dropping a regular video, you dropping a live, like that's the only way you can keep in contact with the people that follow your channel. But I'm like, you should be able to provide several different platforms. I shouldn't have to drop a regular video in order for you to feel like you connected. I shouldn't have to go on live every single day, and it's mandatory for you to feel like you're connected. If you want to hit Shane up, you should be able to hit Shane up. If you want to hit me up for any reason, you should be able to hit me up. Like, take Clarence McLean, for example. He said, support these brothers, and we support him. And the thing is, Clarence McLean, like, and there's other guys too, YSM and Chris G, like, we talk off camera. Like, not everybody is willing to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And as we scale up, of course, we're not going to be able to talk to as many people directly. But the thing is, the fact that that option is out there, there's not many that, and this is no knock against the bigger channels or anything like that. Like, you're not going to be able to hit up no Ellie Setback. Like, you're not going to be able to hit up any of them dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? And be like, yo, what you think of this fight? I've literally had Chris G hit me up. Like, yo, bro, what you think about that fight? Like, literally hit me up. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Clarence said, facts, like real brotherhood. Like, that's what boxing represents. Like, it's a brotherhood at the end of the day. And a lot of people take it somewhere else because they want to argue
and stuff like me and what's it called? me and Suaro and Rocky Rodriguez, Tony Reviews, what we was just that back and forth. We are just intensifying. We are just making it. Right. What we're dropping is just making it 10 times better. So when Tony's reviews was like, okay, we got the bet, bro, we're facilitating a way for us to communicate, but not just communicate. Let's actually go and do something physically, something where we can visibly see, okay, what do you know about boxing? Let's see if this dude knows about boxing.
We gonna always be connected, and the thing is, and as time goes on, things change, and as you scale up, things change and all that. The one thing that doesn't change is the fact that boxing is a brotherhood at the end of the day. And in order for you to build a community, you got to build a family first, and that's what we're here to do. And that's from the UK, the US, Thailand,
Mexico,
everywhere else, Mexico. It doesn't matter. Like building a brotherhood, it don't matter what the race is, don't matter what the country is. If you are down with the sport, and even if you're a casual trying to turn into a hardcore fan, or you're a hardcore fan right now, and you may not be as knowledgeable as other people, like we all gonna come together at the same time. We're gonna come together, we're gonna talk boxing, we're gonna be respectful. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing that's missing with just boxing, period. Like people don't talk in a respectful manner, or even just in a fun manner, like just having fun with it. A lot of people take it so personal, you know what I'm saying, and really just get upset and, you know what I'm saying, get disrespectful. And that's something that we don't do on this channel. Like Clarence McLean don't do that. He said, love my brothers all over. And I'm the same way. Like, it's just, Clarence McLean also has a platform where it's just like, it's just talking the sport. Like, it's no hatred. It's no nothing. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and we need more movements like that, not just mine or Clarence's or, you know, or YSM's. Like, you go to YSM channel when it's all love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not enough channels like that. But it's our job to build up the channels that do represent that. So we do appreciate everyone that has jumped, that follow us on a regular basis, the ones that come in here and there, like the ones that, you know, they may only come in when they see Wilder and Fury thumbnails. Like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? You know, but that's the case sometimes. But, you know, just stay locked in with us on Instagram. Wednesday or Thursday, we will be making a special announcement. So on behalf of VP Shane, Boxing First Vlog, and G5 Jeff TV, we are out.